You have been taught that hard work is the path to success. Work harder than anyone else, they said, and you will be rewarded. Sacrifice sleep, health, and peace, and you will rise. This is the greatest lie ever sold to the ambitious. It keeps you poor, tired, and powerless while others grow rich on your effort. The hard worker is not the prince. He is the mule that carries the prince's gold. The first law of liberation is the law of the leveraged effort. The hard worker uses his own muscles, his own time, his own energy. These are finite. They run out, wear down, die. The prince uses the muscles of others. He builds systems, employs workers, leverages capital. One man with a lever moves more than 100 without. The hard worker is the man without the lever. He exhausts himself while others move mountains with a thought. The second law is the law of the visible sacrifice. The hard worker makes his sacrifice visible. He works long hours, skips meals, arrives early, leaves late. He wants his effort to be seen, appreciated, rewarded. But visibility of sacrifice invites exploitation. Those who see your sacrifice know exactly how much they can take. They know your limits, your breaking point, your price. The prince keeps his sacrifice invisible. No one knows what he endures, what he plans, what he builds. The invisible sacrifice cannot be used against him. The third law is the law of the unpaid overtime. The hard worker gives extra hours freely. He stays late, comes early, works through lunch. He calls it dedication. The prince calls it theft. Every hour you give beyond what you are paid is an hour you have stolen from yourself. It is time you will never recover, energy you will never regain, life you will never live again. The unpaid hour is not dedication, it is subsidy. You are subsidizing your employer's wealth with your existence. The fourth law is the law of the undervalued skill. The hard worker believes that effort creates value. He thinks that the more he struggles, the more his work is worth. But value is not determined by effort. It is determined by scarcity. A thing easily done by many is worth little, no matter how hard the doer works. The prince focuses on skills that are rare, that few possess, that cannot be replaced. The hard worker digs with his hands. The prince learns to read the map that shows where gold is buried. The fifth law is the law of the unseen ownership. The hard worker works for wages. He trades his time for coins, then trades coins for things. The prince owns the things that others work for. He owns the land, the tools, the systems. The worker rents his life from the prince, pays for shelter, food, comfort with wages the prince gave him. The prince gets his money back, and the worker gets nothing but the privilege of continuing to work. Ownership is power. Wages are chains. The sixth law is the law of the unbreakable ceiling. The hard worker believes that effort has no ceiling, that working harder will always lead to more. But there is always a ceiling. It is called your role, your position, your place. The hard worker hits this ceiling and cannot pass it, no matter how much he sweats. The prince designs the ceiling. He places it exactly where it serves him. The worker exhausts himself against it, while the prince above him grows richer on his frustration. The seventh law is the law of the misplaced reward. The hard worker expects reward to follow effort. He works, then waits to be paid, promoted, recognized. But reward does not follow effort. Reward follows leverage. The one who controls the reward decides who receives it, and he does not give it to those who work hard. He gives it to those who serve him, who make him richer, who strengthen his position. The hard worker works for the reward. The prince ensures the reward never reaches him. The eighth law is the law of the unnoticed replacement. The hard worker believes he is indispensable. He thinks his effort, his sacrifice, his dedication make him irreplaceable. He is wrong. Everyone is replaceable. The machine that grinds workers does not care which worker is in it. When one breaks, another takes his place. The prince knows this. He builds systems that do not depend on any single person, including himself. The worker makes himself dependent on the system. The prince makes the system dependent on him. The ninth law is the law of the unseen harvest. The hard worker plants and waters and tends, but another harvests. He builds, but another owns. He creates, but another profits. The prince ensures that he is the harvester, not the planter. He lets others work the fields, while he owns the land. He lets others build, while he owns the buildings. The hard worker labors for the harvest he will never see. The prince rests and watches the grain grow in fields he did not plow. The 10th law is the law of the unvalued time. The hard worker trades his time for money. Once traded, time is gone forever. It cannot be earned back, saved, recovered. The prince does not trade his time. He invests it. He spends time on things that multiply, that create value while he sleeps, that continue producing after he has stopped working. Time traded is time lost. Time invested is time that works for you forever.
The unseen leverage. The hard worker uses his own strength. The prince uses the strength of others. One man's muscles are limited. One man's mind, applied through others, is unlimited. The prince builds armies, hires workers, employs minds. His leverage multiplies his effort until it cannot be measured against the lone workers. The hard worker competes with himself. The prince competes with thousands. The unbought loyalty. The hard worker believes that loyalty is rewarded. He stays with one employer, one company, one path, expecting that dedication will be returned. It will not. Loyalty without leverage is servitude. The one who can leave is valued. The one who cannot is exploited. The prince never allows himself to be unable to leave. He maintains options, cultivates alternatives, keeps his value portable. Those who can walk away are never asked to stay. Those who cannot are never allowed to go. The unseen current. The hard worker swims against the current, believing that effort alone will carry him forward. He exhausts himself while making little progress. The prince studies the current. He finds where it flows, how it moves, where it leads. Then he swims with it, letting its force carry him while he rests. The current is the market, the trend, the movement of power and money. Fighting it is poverty. Riding it is wealth. The unshared knowledge. The hard worker shares what he knows. He teaches, trains, helps others rise. He believes that knowledge shared is knowledge multiplied, but knowledge shared without leverage is knowledge lost. Those he trains become his competitors, his replacements, his superiors. The prince shares selectively. He teaches only what cannot be used against him. He keeps his deepest knowledge for himself, his closest circle, his heirs. Knowledge is power only when it is scarce. The unclaimed credit. The hard worker ensures his work is noticed. He wants credit, recognition, praise. But credit claimed is credit that can be contested, disputed, stolen. The prince lets others take credit for his work, sometimes. He allows them to shine while he builds something larger in the shadows. The one who takes credit becomes dependent on the one who does the work. When the work stops, the credit taker falls and the worker rises. The unfinished work. The hard worker finishes everything immediately, completely, perfectly. Completion creates expectation. Those who receive perfect work expect it again. The prince sometimes leaves work unfinished. Sometimes he delays. Sometimes he does less than he could. The unfinished work reminds others that his effort is not guaranteed, that his quality is not automatic, that his completion is a gift, not an obligation. The unseen network. The hard worker focuses on his task. He works, produces, delivers. He does not see the network of relationships, favors, and alliances that determine who rises and who falls. The prince builds networks. He knows people, cultivates connections, creates obligations. When the hard worker's task is done, he is forgotten. When the prince's network is strong, he is remembered, recommended, rewarded. The network is more important than the work. The unread reputation. The hard worker believes that results speak for themselves. He thinks that good work will be noticed, recognized, rewarded. Results do not speak. Reputation speaks. Reputation is what people say about you when you are not in the room. It is built not by work alone, but by visibility, by relationships, by the stories told about you. The hard worker works. The prince manages his reputation. The worker hopes to be known. The prince ensures he is known for what serves him. The unbought skill. The hard worker develops skills that others can buy. He becomes excellent at what he does, and what he does can be purchased, replaced, outsourced. The prince develops skills that cannot be bought: judgment, strategy, influence, the ability to direct others. These skills are not for sale because they cannot be separated from the person who possesses them. The hard worker makes himself a product. The prince makes himself irreplaceable. The unfinished transformation. You will never be finished becoming free from the trap of hard work. The system will always try to pull you back, to make you believe that effort alone will save you. It will not. The prince is always becoming, always learning, always finding new leverage, new systems, new ways to make work work for him rather than the other way around. Those who think they have arrived have already begun to decline. The unfinished transformation is the only transformation that matters. You have now received the laws of liberation from the trap of hard work. The world will not thank you for this knowledge. It will call you lazy, entitled, a cheat. Let them talk, while they exhaust themselves against the walls of a system designed to consume them. You will build something else, a life where work serves you, where effort is leveraged, where time is owned, not traded. The hard worker will always be poor because he trades the only thing he cannot make more of, his life. The prince does not trade his life. He invests it, and it returns to him multiplied. Choose now. Will you continue to be the mule,
or will you become the one who owns the mill? The choice is yours, and the time to make it is now.
You now see the trap for what it is, a cage built by those who profit from your effort, disguised as a path to success. But knowledge without action is merely entertainment. The hard worker consumes wisdom and returns to his labor. The prince transforms. Now we go deeper into the art of making work work for you, of turning effort into leverage, of becoming the one who owns rather than the one who is owned. These next laws are not for the curious. They are for those ready to cross the river and never return. The owned means. The hard worker uses tools owned by others. He works in their buildings, with their equipment, on their materials. Every moment of his labor increases their wealth, not his. The prince owns his means. He may start small, a single tool, a simple space, a modest resource, but it is his. Every hour he works increases his wealth, builds his asset, grows his independence. Ownership is the difference between working for survival and working for sovereignty. The multiplied hour. The hard worker sells his hour once. He works, receives payment, and the hour is gone. The prince finds ways to sell his hour many times. He creates something once and sells it repeatedly. He builds a system that works while he rests. He trains others to do what he does, and their hours become his. The single hour sold once is poverty. The hour sold many times is wealth. The invisible labor. The hard worker makes his labor visible. He wants to be seen working, to be recognized for his effort, to receive credit for his hours. But visible labor is labor that can be measured, valued, priced, and priced low. The prince makes his labor invisible. His most valuable work happens when no one watches, planning, strategizing, building systems, cultivating relationships. This invisible labor cannot be priced because it cannot be seen. It is valued not by the hour, but by its results, and results have no ceiling. The unbought time. The hard worker sells his time because he has nothing else to sell. His time is his only asset, and he trades it for coins. The prince refuses to sell his time. He sells products, services, ideas, things that are separate from him, that can be produced without consuming his hours. His time is his own, to invest, to enjoy, to live. Time sold is time lost forever. Time kept is time that can be multiplied. The unseen harvest. The hard worker harvests what he plants. He works, produces, collects, but his harvest is limited by his own hands. The prince harvests what others plant. He owns the fields, not the labor. He owns the mills, not the grain. He owns the systems, not the effort. His harvest is not limited by his own capacity. It is limited only by the land he controls, the systems he builds, the people he employs. The unseen harvest of others' labor is the greatest wealth. The unpaid debt. The hard worker believes that hard work creates debt, that others owe him for his effort, that the world will repay him for his sacrifice. It will not. The world does not owe you anything. Your effort creates no debt because no one asked for it. The prince does not work in hope of repayment. He works in expectation of exchange. He gives nothing without receiving, receives nothing without giving. Debts are not created by effort. They are created by agreement. If you work without agreement, you work for nothing. The unseen market. The hard worker focuses on his product, his skill, his effort. He believes that if he builds something good, buyers will come. They will not. The market does not reward quality, it rewards visibility. The best product in the world, unseen, is worth nothing. The prince focuses on the market first. He learns what people want, how to reach them, how to make them see. Then he builds what they will buy.
The hard worker builds and hopes. The prince learns and builds. The unshared advantage. The hard worker shares his advantages freely. He tells others how he succeeded, reveals his methods, teaches his techniques. He believes that sharing is virtuous, that others will thank him, that his generosity will be returned. It will not. Those who learn from you become your competitors. They will use your knowledge to surpass you, to replace you, to make your advantages common. The prince guards his advantages. He shares only what cannot harm him, teaches only what others could learn anyway. His true advantages remain his alone. The law of the unseen opportunity. The hard worker sees only what is in front of him, the task, the job, the immediate need. He misses the opportunities that surround him because he is too busy working to look up. The prince keeps his head raised. He watches for openings, for gaps, for moments when others' labor creates chances he can seize. While the hard worker works, the prince observes. While the hard worker sweats, the prince plans. While the hard worker sleeps exhausted, the prince moves into the space the worker's labor created. The unfinished task. The hard worker finishes everything immediately, completely, perfectly. Completion creates expectation. Those who receive perfect work expect it again. The prince sometimes leaves work unfinished. Sometimes he delays. Sometimes he does less than he could. The unfinished work reminds others that his effort is not guaranteed, that his quality is not automatic, that his completion is a gift, not an obligation.
The unread reputation. The hard worker believes that results speak for themselves. He thinks that good work will be noticed, recognized, rewarded. Results do not speak. Reputation speaks. Reputation is what people say about you when you are not in the room. It is built not by work alone, but by visibility, by relationships, by the stories told about you. The hard worker works. The prince manages his reputation. The worker hopes to be known. The prince ensures he is known for what serves him. The unseen network. The hard worker focuses on his task. He works, produces, delivers. He does not see the network of relationships, favors, and alliances that determine who rises and who falls. The prince builds networks. He knows people, cultivates connections, creates obligations. When the hard worker's task is done, he is forgotten. When the prince's network is strong, he is remembered, recommended, rewarded. The network is more important than the work. The unbought skill. The hard worker develops skills that others can buy. He becomes excellent at what he does, and what he does can be purchased, replaced, outsourced. The prince develops skills that cannot be bought: judgment, strategy, influence, the ability to direct others. These skills are not for sale because they cannot be separated from the person who possesses them. The hard worker makes himself a product. The prince makes himself irreplaceable. The law of the unforced rhythm. The hard worker works in bursts, frantic, exhausted, then depleted. He cannot sustain his effort, cannot maintain his pace, cannot work forever. The prince works in rhythm, steady, sustainable, endless. He does not exhaust himself because he does not need to. His systems work while he rests. His investments grow while he sleeps. His rhythm is not the frantic sprint of the worker, but the steady pulse of the one who has learned that consistency outlasts intensity. The unseen foundation. The hard worker builds what can be seen. He creates visible results, tangible products, obvious achievements. These can be copied, stolen, destroyed. The prince builds foundations, systems, relationships, knowledge that are invisible but essential. When the visible is destroyed, the foundation remains, and from it, new visible can rise. The hard worker's work can be taken from him. The prince's work cannot be taken because it cannot be seen. The unclaimed credit. The hard worker ensures his work is noticed. He wants credit, recognition, praise. But credit claimed is credit that can be contested, disputed, stolen. The prince lets others take credit for his work. Sometimes he allows them to shine while he builds something larger in the shadows. The one who takes credit becomes dependent on the one who does the work. When the work stops, the credit taker falls and the worker rises. The unread history. The hard worker repeats the same patterns, makes the same mistakes, fall into the same traps. He does not learn from history because he does not study it. The prince studies history, not for dates and names, but for patterns. He sees how others were used, how they escaped, how they fell. He learns from their errors without making them himself. The hard worker lives his life once and learns only from his own mistakes. The prince lives many lives through history and learns from all of them. The unseen competition. The hard worker competes where competition is visible. He enters crowded fields, fights for position, exhausts himself against many. The prince competes where competition is invisible. He finds niches, creates new categories, builds where others are not looking. The visible competition is a slaughterhouse. The invisible competition is an empty field waiting to be planted. The hard worker fights for scraps. The prince harvests where no one else thought to sow. The unclaimed power. The hard worker gives away his power without knowing it. He lets others define his worth, set his hours, determine his future. The prince claims his power. He defines his own worth, sets his own hours, determines his own future. Power is not given, it is taken. Those who wait for power to be granted will wait forever. The prince takes what is his and defends it against all who would take it back. The unfinished transformation. You will never be finished becoming free from the trap of hard work. The system will always try to pull you back, to make you believe that effort alone will save you. It will not. The prince is always becoming, always learning, always finding new leverage, new systems, new ways to make work work for him rather than the other way around. Those who think they have arrived have already begun to decline. The unfinished transformation is the only transformation that matters. The hard worker will always be with us. Those who trade their lives for coins, who exhaust themselves for others' gain, who believe that effort alone will save them. You were once among them. Now you know another way. The prince does not work harder, he works differently. He owns his means, multiplies his hours, builds invisible foundations, cultivates networks, claims his power. He does not hope for reward, he designs it. He does not wait for opportunity, he creates it. He does not ask for permission, he takes what is his. The choice is yours, and it must be made again every day. Will you be the mule or the mill owner? Will you trade your life for coins or make coins work so your life is your own? The hard worker dies tired, poor, and forgotten. The prince lives fully, leaves a legacy, and rests in the shade of trees he planted but did not water with his sweat. Choose now. The river waits.